Hi, my name is Najmi with the idea of MH 11099. We present about the second law of thermodynamics. In the second law of thermodynamics, we will study about the introduction to the second law. For the first subchapter, introduction. Besides this, we will also study about the application of the second law of thermodynamics on the heat engine. Then for the third subchapter, we also will study about the energy conservation efficiencies. And for the fourth chapter, we will study about the refrigerators and heat pumps. Next, in this chapter also, we will study about the reversible and irreversible process. And the last subchapter for the second law of thermodynamics, we will study about the Carnot cycle and devices. First of all, I will tell you about the introduction. As you all know, the second law of thermodynamics asserts the existence of quality called the entropy of a system, and further states that when two isolated systems now we focus about the definition of the second law of thermodynamics. And two isolated systems in a separate but nearby regions of space, each in the thermodynamic equilibrium, are sometimes allowed to interact. How they interact is by breaking the isolation that separates between the two systems. Next, by allowing them to exchanging matter between the two systems, they will eventually reach a state of the thermal equilibrium. The arrow stands for the changing of the transfer of the sharing of matter. And they will achieve a sort of thermal equilibrium. So what we can conclude from the two systems is by allowing them sharing matter, and also by breaking the bond between the two systems, it can achieve a state of thermal equilibrium. the main key point in this thermal equilibrium is that the sum of enthalpy of enthalpy of the initial system is less or equal to the enthalpy of the final combination of exchanging system. The sum of enthalpy of initial must be less than or equal to the sum of enthalpy in the final combination of exchange system. So for the introduction, we must bear in mind that the sum of enthalpy of initial must be less than or equal to the sum of enthalpy of the final combination of the changing system. So for the basic principle that I explained before, it follows that the entropy of an isolated microscopic system never decreases. The second law states that the spontaneous natural processes increase entropy overall, or in other formulations, the heat can spontaneously be conducted or radiated only from a higher temperature to a lower temperature region, but not in the other way around. From my explanation, we can conclude that the heat can only be transferred from the higher temperature to lower temperature, not to lower temperature to higher temperature, because it disagree with the second law of thermodynamics. Higher temperature to lower only. So the next concept that we must understand that heat only can transfer from higher temperature to lower only. Such that the second law refers to a wide variety of processes, reversible, irreversible, and the main point that we need to stress it out is about the irresistibility. The prime example of irresistibility is the transfer of heat by conduction of radiation. It was known long before the discovery of notion of entropy that when two bodies of different temperature are connected with each other by purely thermal connection, conductive or radiative, then heat always flows from the hotter body to colder one. Furthermore, the second law tells also about kinds of irresistibility other than heat transfer, and the notion of entropy is needed to provide the wider scope of the law. According to the second law of thermodynamics, also, it is in a reversible heat transfer, and an element of heat transferred, known as the notation of Q, is the product of the temperature, both system of the sources of destination of the heat, with the increment delta S of the system conjugate variable is entropy. Next, we will look into the direction of the second law of thermodynamics, by which we can go one system with we can assume as A and B, by which A we can put example of 10 Celsius, and the B we can put a temperature of 40 Celsius. What I want to mention in this system is, in the second law of thermodynamics, the process occur in a certain direction, not in any direction. But what I want to explain is in the second law of thermodynamics, the process of transfer of heat only occur in a certain direction, but means that in one direction. The transfer of heat. Next, in the second law of thermodynamics, we will go into the quality of energy. What we can define about the quality of energy? The quality of energy is related to how much work we can get out of the energy. That means how we can use the energy that we obtain to convert into a work, into some sort of work. For example, high temperature. High temperature can produce more work. Than low temperature energy. So basically, from this statement, we can conclude that by having a high temperature, we will definitely get more work than compared to the having a low temperature. Next, we will look into the thermal reservoir. The thermal reservoir can also be used to explain about the theory of the second law of thermodynamics, in which the thermal reservoir can be conclude a large body that can absorb or supply heat without a noticeable temperature change. So a large body that absorb or supply heat without noticeable temperature difference. So the definition of the thermal reservoir clearly must be remembered by each of us. Next, I will talk to tell you about the example of the thermal reservoir. The example of thermal reservoir are the ocean, lake, atmosphere, room, air or furnace burner. And some addition point is the bodies with relatively large thermal masses can be modeled as a thermal energy reservoir. Okay. For next, I would like to clarify about the definition of the heat sink and also the heat source. What is the difference between the heat sink and the heat source? So to make this my question clear, we need to draw a table of the heat sink, heat source. Heat sink is the reservoir that absorbs heat. That's the main point that we need to remember. Heat sink is the reservoir that absorbs heat. Heat sink is the reservoir that absorbs heat. Absorb heat. That's the key point of the heat sink. Absorb heat. And for the heat source, it's the reservoir that supplies heat. Heat source is the reservoir that supplies heat, and heat source is the reservoir that supplies heat. And with my explanation about the heat sink and the heat source, we can conclude that for the introduction, we only need to remember all the fact that I stated before. Without wasting much time, we go into the heat engine. I would like to tell you about what is the heat engine and what is the application based on the second law of thermodynamics. What do you all know about the heat engine? For your information, the heat engine is any device that converts heat energy to the useful works. Just remember, any device that converts heat energy to any useful work. The heat engine is really in line with the principle of second law of thermodynamics, by which they use heat as source of work. It's a device that convert heat energy to work. Okay, I know that we feel very curious to know what is the example of the heat engine. Okay, let me clarify that. The example of the heat engine, one of the example of the heat engine is the steam locomotive engine in the yearly 1090 and to the 1950 centuries, by which in the other age, the locomotive steam using the principle of the heat engine to generate kinetic energy, also to generate movement, to enable us to commute between the two places. So, one of the example is the locomotive engine. Next, the new Newcomen engine patented in 1975 by the Thomas Newcomen also express about the principle of the heat engine. Also, the Wankel engine developed by the Felix Wankel in the 1950 centuries also describe the usage of the heat engine. Okay. Next, I will like to explain to you what is the requirement of the heat engine. The requirement of the heat engines, definitely it will require a heat addition and also injection. Heat and also injection. These are the two requirements that we need to enable heat engine to be operated. By which I can draw some diagram for better understanding. Okay. There is the one system with some boundary at the middle, and by which we can assume that this is a hot reservoir, and this is the cold reservoir. And the round shape between the hot and cold reservoir is the boundary. In this boundary, there is some process occur by which the work cycle is equal to the heat of the hot reservoir. I assume that it's QH plus the heat of the cold reservoir. I assume as a QC. In the example, we can clearly state that the boundary help to explain about the second law of thermodynamics, by which the hot reservoir and the cold reservoir is equal to the work done being explained. Okay. Next, I will let you to more clarify for the example of the heat engine, and I will draw a diagram for you, so to make you understand what the application towards our industrial life. Okay. In my diagram, I will draw 4 devices. There is a first point, a boiler, turbine, condenser, and pump, by which the boiler acts as an energy source, such as furnace. So we can conclude the boiler as the heat coming. The heat coming can be as a Q, and beside the boiler we will draw a turbine. The turbine is like in this turbine there is a work done. It's a work done out of the system. Work done out of the system. Next, after having a boiler and turbine, you will have a condenser. All must be clear. So the function of the condenser is the steam power plant. In the steam power plant, condenser acts as an energy sink. As I told before, energy sink energy sink as example of energy sink is atmosphere. You know what I explain later? Yeah. The condenser, the rectangular shape that I draw is means to the condenser. Condenser where the energy sink. Occurs. Some source of energy sink is atmosphere. And the last one, to complete my steam power plant example, we must have a pump. What is the shape of the pump? The pump shaped like a whistle. Remember, this is the steam power plant, and we definitely need a pump, and the pump acts as the work they come in the system. Remember, the pump and the turbine acts in the opposite direction. I mean, what's the what I want to tell you about the pump, where is the work done being generated, and the turbine, where is the work done being released, being come out. Okay, for the next subchapter, we will look into the thermal efficiency. All of us want to know what is thermal efficiency. When we apply the word of efficiency, it clearly describes about the usage of energy in a better manner with minimized waste. What the thermal efficiency? In the thermal efficiency, the formula that being used is all about performance, where the performance is equal to the desired output into the required input. So it is clearly described that the desired output is inversely proportional to the required input. That means if the desired output is greater, so the required input will definitely lower. The desired output. And over to the required input. This formula always used to determine the thermal efficiency in a system. So each student must remember this formula, as some question may also ask us about the relationship of this thermal efficiency. But for the thermal efficiency in the terms of heat engines, we use a thermal efficiency. We have another formula by which the net work output is over to the total heat output, by which the relationship between the net work output is inversely proportional to the total heat input. Which the main formula is the eta. Eta is a symbol of like N. Eta equal to the work net out. The work of the net work that being released, that being come out of the system and the heat that's come in. So the thermal efficiency in the thermal efficiency can be concluded as the net work that comes out over to the heat that comes in. Hi, we continue again with the formula of the energy efficiency. As my previous teaching before, I stated that for heat engines, the thermal efficiency is equal to the net work output and the total heat input, by which by the formula the eta is equal to the work the net work done that comes out equal to the total heat that comes in. So for the next formula, for the next specific formula, we also can use eta equal to the we can also derive from the eta formula is next, and it's equal to the work the net work done that comes out is over to this total heat that's coming in. And from the formula of the net work done that comes out equal over to the total heat that comes in, we can derive it to the total heat that comes in minus the total heat that comes out over into the total heat that comes in. Why we need to derive this formula is because it depends on the type of question that being given, by which sometimes the question insists that we need to get about the value of eta, but it only gives the changing of heat, by which only by using this formula we can get solution, not focus only on one formula only. This also can be used, and this formula also can be used. And the second, and we also by this formula can derive to the 1 minus the total heat that comes out and the total steam that comes in, because we can cut this formula, we can simplify this formula, and we give 1 minus the total heat that comes out and the total heat that comes in. By using this formula also, we can simplify our work. Besides that, in a certain system, we also can use the formula of Y minus heat from the Y minus Q L over QH, by which the QL refers to the low temperature reservoir and the QH refers to the high temperature reservoir. As I explained before to my steam engines, by which I have drawn a hot reservoir at the upper part, and there's a boundary, and there is and below is the cold reservoir. By my previous example also, we can conclude that by using this formula we can get the value of eta. Do you understand? Okay. To enhance our understanding of the value of eta, we can try one question that is related to our studies today. Okay, example 1. We can imagine that a steam power plant produces 50 megawatts. A steam. This is my example. This is just an example to clarify that our formula can be deduced into others equation. A steam of power plant produce power plant produce 50 megawatts. 50 megawatts of net work. That's of net work. The first point that we can get in this question is the 50 megawatt of net work. While completing the burning of this power plant to generate electricity, it can produce about 150 megawatt of heat energy of the high temperature. Produce 150 of megawatts as output, as the heat energy. So, what we want to in this question is to determine the cycle of thermal efficiency and the heat rejected by the cycle to the surroundings. So, I just give you the key point of this question. There is the 50 megawatts of network and of 150 megawatts as a heat energy. And by using these 2 points, 150 and 50 megawatts, we can determine the energy, the thermal efficiency. What formula that we need to use is the formula that I state in the first stage. Eta is equal to the work, the net work done out. This it comes out is equal over to the total heat that comes in. Thus, we cannot directly select the 50 megawatts because as the question mentioned, net work, 50 megawatts of network. So we put as 50 megawatts. And the 150 megawatts as heat energy. Heat can be said as Q. Heat is Q. So the 150 is the total heat that's come in. So you can get the answer of 1/3 as the value of the eta. Or in the percentage or if the question asks you the percentage of the value of eta, okay, use 0.20%. So to get the as an extra question, to get the total work, the net work done that's cut out, as had the total, we also can use other formulas such as you copy this answer. Yeah. We can use other one formula that maybe we forgot this formula. It's just a simple formula. So where the net work that comes in equal to the Q hash is the temperature in the hot reservoir. Q hash over the QL by minus QL. So the net work done they come in is equal to the heat. Heat in the total is the heat in the hot reservoir minus the heat in the cold reservoir. Where which we can take 150 megawatt as heat energy as the heat in the hot reservoir minus 50 megawatts as the heat in the cold reservoir. So we can get the answer of 100 megawatts. So what we can conclude that by using the formula of ETA, we also can use this formula as it clarified. But this formula is quite tricky because sometimes we misjudge where is the heat in the hot reservoir and also in the heat in the cold reservoir. Okay, next we go into the third subchapter, is the energy conversion efficiency. As we studied before, it's all about the energy efficiency, and for this moment we will study about the energy conversion efficiency. First of all, let me explain what's the meaning of the energy efficiency. As I stated before, is that we can conclude that efficiency indicates how well an energy conversion is accomplished. Energy conversion efficiency. Okay, by this terms of efficiency is quite clearly state that efficiency is anybody know? Efficiency as a theory indicates how well an energy conversion is accomplished. It's the term of efficiency. For this subchapter, we only need to remember about the basic concept because it seldom involves calculation. Next, we go into the next subchapter, which I stated before, is the refrigerator, and the heat pump. Someone know what is the definition of the refrigerator and heat pumps? Anyone know? Let me explain. Refrigerator and heat pumps are devices that absorb heat from the low temperature medium and reject it to higher temperature ones. What I try to explain here is refrigerator and heat pump is some sort of example that absorb that it capable of absorb heat from low temperature, but it can generate a high temperature ones. What to make you understand, let me draw a diagram for you. Okay, before I make a diagram, in a refrigerator there is four basic devices, four basic appliances that compulsory to be installed in the refrigerator system, by which the first one is the condenser. what happened in the condenser? Condenser, where's the condenser? And this, and the second item that needs the condenser is compressor. Compressor. Oh, from this picture also we can conclude that compressor is the network done. That's it. Compressor. Do you know that after the in this compressor endure a certain temperature and pressure, by which we can assume that in this compressor it's about 1,800 kilopascal that will be applied towards it, and 50 Celsius. And next, the second items in the refrigerator is the evaporator. Evaporator also apply the same temperature and pressure towards the compressor, by which you can assume that about 120 kilopascal. I mean, temperature is about negative 20 Celsius. Evaporator, condenser, compressor, evaporator, and the last one that needs in system of refrigerator is definitely the expansion valve. Expansion valve. Expansion valve, the condenser maybe apply a pressure of 1,800 kilopascal, and about the pressure of 30 Celsius, and the expansion valve also 120 kilopascal, and the temperature is about 25 Celsius. From this diagram, it's clearly stated that the refrigerator apply the second law of thermodynamic concept, by which the condenser is being open to the surroundings. By being open to the surroundings, it also can is a form of the heat pump. Okay, for the next subchapter, we will go into the coefficient of performance, which is in the same subchapter as I said before. Coefficient of performance. Coefficient of performance is also known as a COP. As anybody know what is the formula of coefficient of performance? Coefficient of performance formula is about the desired result over the required input. But I tell I tell it why this formula is begin with that. This formula is starting from the principle of refrigerator, by which coefficient of performance is equal to the heat that comes from the reservoir over the net work done that comes in. Over the net work done. Sorry, it's not heat that comes in. But the main point that we need is called the formula. Okay. This formula. Remember this formula, so we can apply the first law of the cyclic refrigerator. Do anybody know the first law of cyclic refrigerator? Okay. Remember this formula. This is the formula of coefficient of performance. First law of cyclic refrigerator. First law of refrigerator, is the Q L minus QH. Is my formula correct? Yeah. Okay. Minus 0 minus work is coming. That equal to the total of U cycle. The first law of cyclic refrigerator, we mentioned that there is QL minus QH, and in the bracket minus 0 minus work that comes in equal to the total of the U cycle, or we can simplify this formula into the working that equal to the work net in. So the QH minus QL. You must remember that the work in or the net works that's come in equal to QH minus QL. This formula always apply in a certain equation that's quite a coefficient of performance. Okay, now I would like to explain to you about the diagram of the refrigerator. In the refrigerator, the cycle can be either gas, closed system, or real liquid in an open flow process devices. So for the diagram for ideal gas, the explain order is the axis of the P minus V, and also is the back is some sort of diagram. This diagram always have L, and is the T and TC. It's a phase diagram. So for to this phase diagram is show how the adiabatic process occurs, how a phase change, how a temperature change from one form to another through this diagram. Okay. Okay. As a refreshment, I would like to tell you about some second law statements some statements about second law of thermodynamics. Based on Clausius, it is impossible to transfer energy from a cooler to a hotter body without leaving an effect on surroundings. Impossible. He says impossible to transfer energy from a hotter body from a cooler to a hotter body without having effect on surroundings. Maybe this process requires a heat pump or other device with this energy input. And the second one is based on the Calvin tank. Calvin tank is impossible also to operate a thermodynamic cycle to produce work with only heat transfer from a single reservoir. What I want to state is before, this required both heat addition and heat rejection. And next, also as a refreshment for us, I would like to explain about the perpetual motion machine. Perpetual motion machine is a device that violates either law, first or second law of thermodynamics, and it's called a perpetual motion machine. And without wasting much time, we go to the next subchapter, which next subchapter we will study about the reversible and irreversible process. What we can conclude about the reversible process. Reversible process is the process that can be reversed without leaving no trace on the surroundings. A process that can be reversed. A process that can be reversed without having no trace to the surroundings. Meanwhile, the irreversible process defines a process that is not reversible. Okay. First, in the reversible, you must know the definition. Reversible is a process that cannot be reversed without leaving no trace to the surroundings. Finish. Remember, but the irreversible process is a process that not reversible. It's simple terms. Okay. Based on the reversible process also, we can clearly state that a hypothetical process where system and surroundings can be restored to the initial state. That means if a system endure a change to another change, it can back to the original state. Example of the reversible process is the frictionless pendulum, and about quasi-static. Quasi-static means the almost static boundary work, and the quasi-static boundary heat transfer. Next, about the irreversible process. Irreversible process can occur due to the first point is friction. Friction causes heat transfer to the surroundings. Cannot use this energy loss to reverse the process. And the next one that contributes to the irreversible process is the heat transfer. Heat transfer cannot reverse the process without the heat pump. Electricity required for heat pump would affect the environment. We definitely affect the environment, and it's in line with the definition of irreversible process. Okay. By knowing the basic principle, I will need to tell you about the non-quasi expansion of compression, by which there's a certain basic concept that need to understand. Okay. In a non-quasi static expansion, we can assume a system that be in a uniform and the stretch, that's been stretched, by which the work done comes out is equal to the rate of dV and must be greater than 0. That's been known. The work comes out is equal to the integration of dV, but must be greater than 0. While the works come out, that speed comes in, you just adjust the speed cut. By the in a non-static expansion, in a non-static compression. Sorry, it's not expansion. It's compression. Now we focus on compression. Well, still apply in the same formula, but we just adjust out into E and integration PD, the change of the PDV and must be continuous. And we must remember for the non-consistatic compression and expansion, the net work must be zero. The net work must be zero. That's in a reversible. How about in the irreversible? The irreversible, is the non-quasi expansion. The work that come out is equal to the integration of PDV in a low pressure must be greater than 0. While in work terms, in non-quasi compressions, in irreversible systems, the work come in is equal to the integration of high PDV and must be less than 0. Okay. Based on my explanations, it's clearly that reversible and irreversible process is internally reversible process. In the internally reversible process, no irreversibilities occur within the boundaries and also of the system during the process. In the externally boundary process, no irreversible occur outside the boundaries of the system during the process. Total reversible process, internal and external reversible. And for the last subchapter of my presentation, of my sharing knowledge, I would like to explain to you about Carnot cycle. Sorry, it's not about Carnot. I just joking with others. Carnot cycle. First of all, what is the Carnot cycle? Carnot cycle, based on history, is first proposed on 1824 by a French engineer named Sally Carnot. A cycle. Carnot cycle is a cycle that working on a reversible process, serve as a starting point to develop actual cycle. Let me draw you a Carnot cycle. Cycle. This is just a diagram P over V. And the Carnot cycle. Cycle. And the total heat transfer Q, that's QH, and QL. And this is the first point, and we can assume it's second point, and third and fourth point. First, second, third, and fourth point, at which the value of TH is remain constant. And for the third point, the value of TL also remain constant. This Carnot cycle remain the same principle as the TH and the TL remain constant in any condition, because in Carnot cycle we involve with the four expansion, which is the isothermal expansion, adiabatic expansion, isothermal compression, and also the adiabatic compression. Okay. In the Carnot cycle, it can be clockwise cycle for heat engine or anti-clockwise cycle for refrigerator. And in Carnot cycle, we also have reversibles. The Carnot cycles is the principle is about the efficiency of an irreversible heat engine is always less than the efficiency of a reversible. Okay, so we can do complete efficiency of an irreversible heat is always less than efficiency of reversible. It's less than efficiency reversible heat less than the efficiency of reversible engine. The efficiency of all the reversible heat engines operating between the same two reservoirs are the same. So we will let into the Carnot device. In the Carnot cycle, there's many devices to working to make sure that the cycles of operate in a good way. Okay, the first device. The first device is the Carnot heat engine. And the second one is the refrigerator. And the third one is the heat pump. These devices usually are same as the previous devices. However, the system working on reversible processes. That's the difference. Don't have other same difference. Okay, what is the Carnot heat engine formula? The Carnot heat engine formula is involved because is related to the thermal efficiency of any heat engine. Reversible or irreversible or reversible processes, where which the formula is about theta is equal to 1 minus QL over QH. And that is the formula of thermal efficiency of the heat engine. Eta minus QL QH. And the thermal efficiency of Carnot heat engines also is different, but the difference about TL minus TH. And has some more about as Carnot cycle of the principal Carnot heat engines and COP and Isto cycle, reversible process, reversible sum, cycle of formula, and based on the, I think we need to do some exercise to make clear about our objective. First, we can do exercise such as we must take a simple exercise such as we do some exercise before we end our presentation. Example. Let me think one example is Najmi have developed a refrigerator at UMP that maintains the refrigerated space at 2 Celsius. While operating in a room at 25 Celsius and has a COP, coefficient of performance of 30.5. Scash your system. Basically, the question is mainly about scanning your system and determine if system is true or not. So, we need to adjust COP first. COP is equal to QL. QL minus this formula. Based on the formula, we can also derive PL minus DL. This is the formula. Therefore, just add. COP can be derived. So we can get the value of COP. Just a simple. Then the value of COP is as the value of COP is not better than the value of refrigerator, dot is not valid. Okay. Is there any question about my presentation? If there is question, you can raise your hands. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.